Okay, for the Flyhalf prospects, we have about 9. First one we have here is Twin Raki Samsamuvandre, age 23. His background, he played for Ratu Nabula in the Deans 2016, was part of the Fiji under 20 in 2017, and went through the Warriors and Latui team. And yeah, his skill set, he's an exceptional player in his game management. He has good vision and technical awareness. Finrike has been part of the Naita series setup for 2 years and has been their top choice fly half ahead of Kenny Douglas and Vuate Karaulev, who are two upcoming fly halves in Fiji's local Skipper Cup. And club he plays for is Naita Siri. Our next prospect is Napoleoni Bolada, age 24. Napoleoni attended Ratu Nabula. He was discovered by Gareth Baber in a local sevens tournament in the west of Fiji, and was part of the recent win in Rio Olympics for Fiji in rugby sevens. His skill set, he's a very sneaky player and has such a great fend-off, and also he's an exciting machine to watch. When he was playing for Yasawa, he had a good eye for gap, amazing footwork in getting out of under pressure, and surprisingly he has a good kicking ability. I was really admired how good his kicking accuracy was. The club he plays for is Yasawa. Our third prospect is Enele Malele, age 31. His background, he attended Suvagrama and has been with the Warriors since 2018 and the Drua. He was part of that famous Fiji team that beat the Barbarians back in 2019. His skill set, he has a really good technical awareness, eye for the gap, and he's very composed under pressure. Malele has been consistent throughout the years for Fiji and has been a top contender for the fly half position, but age is catching up, so it's good that we fully utilize his experience. Another bonus that Enele brings is that he's an amazing goal kicker. I think of all the fly half that we have here, he's the best goal kicker there is. If you watch his game in the Skipper Cup for Suva, he did some really good, like 15-meter kicks. It was amazing. It has range to it. It flew right between the post. The club he plays for is Suva. Our next prospect is Teti Tela. Tela is age 30. His background, he's been Fiji's second choice fly half behind Ben Volavola. Tela was part of the Fiji under 20 in 2011 with Semi Randrandra, and then played for a bit for Queensland in Super Rugby, and came back and played a bit for Fiji Latui. He has about 3 tests cap for Fiji. His skill set, he has a killer step, eye for a gap, and he has strength to break tackles and quite determined to go through tackles. He has also good vision and technical awareness. If you watch his game against the Barbarians in 2019, he was lightening things up for the Fiji backline. He was creating space for players around him, and he was the one who's enabling our backline to move forward. The club he plays for is GPS Rugby in Australia. Our fifth prospect is Caleb Muntz, age 22. Background, he was born and raised in New Zealand, attended Hamilton High School, a famous school that's has produced some famous All Blacks like recently Sevu Reece. Muntz was part of the Fiji under-20 for 2 years, 2017 and 2018, and 2018 and 2019. He also was part of the Fiji Warriors and Latui. But sadly with Muntz, he's been injured throughout this season. He'll be up and ready by November. His skill sets, he also has a good step, an eye for the gap, and he has strength and determination. I feel like he's still learning the ropes, and it will be exciting to see him back to be part for the Drua, as he's been nurtured very closely by Fiji Rugby as our future Flyhalf. The club is pretty for. Unfortunately, he hasn't been signed by a top club in New Zealand. Our next prospect is Roman Prasad, age 24. Background, born and raised in New Zealand. His dad is Indo-Fijian and his mom is Samoan, who is related to a famous Samoan rugby player, Tangaloa. Roman went to Kelson Boys High School in Auckland, New Zealand, and has played for Auckland age groups and the Samoa development. Roman, his skill sets, he brings something that's been lacking with Fiji's fly halves for years, and that's been not being afraid to take the ball up front and creating space for players around them. He has a strong right-hand fend-off and electric left foot step. A lot has been spoken about this kid. Roman Prasad plays for SRC South in Australia. Our next prospect is Isaac Ratumaitavuki. Isaac is age 22. Background, he was born and raised in New Zealand, attended Douglas High School, and is the older brother of Jacob Ratumaitavuki. Isaac also was part of the Fiji under-20 in 2019 to Argentina. He was playing mainly second five. His skill sets, he's mostly a midfielder, but his skill sets can correlate into a fly half. He has an eye for a gap, creates space around him, and is has a quite exceptional speed out wide. The club he plays for is Taranaki in New Zealand. Our second last prospect is Kenny Douglas, age 27. Background, he played in the Deans for QVS in 2012 and has been part of the Fijian Drua and Latui and Warriors too. His skill sets, he has an extraordinary footwork and loves hitting tackles to create space for players around him. The Drua can really rely on his boots. He has a good kicking ability too. The club he plays for is Naita Siri. Our last prospect is Watemo Rabobo. I've only been watching his highlights. He's age 31. He attended Ratu Nabula and was part of our 7th team win in Rio in 2016. Now he's with Nandi. Because I've only watched most of his highlights, what I see is that he's really composed under pressure and creates space for players around him, and he's really good in organizing attacks for the backline. He's also quite physical in defense. The club he plays for in the Skipper Cup is 90. Okay, out of all these 9 players that I've named, I would say the top best kickers, the 2 top best kickers that we have here is Malele and Kenny Douglas. Okay, for our wings prospects, the first winger we have here is Veroniki Tikoi Solomoni, age 23. His background, he played in the Deans back in 2016 for Lilian and was part of the Fiji under-20 in 2018 and had overseas stunts like France. His skill set is a pretty light and agile player with a lot of speed. He's very dangerous in open play and he has a very good offload game. The club he plays for is Taranaki in New Zealand. Our next prospect is Vinaya Hambosi, age 21. His background is he's the little brother of Nandronga veteran and Drua player Aprosa Tambulawaki. Hambosi came into the limelight in the Skipper Cup last season. He scored 2 great tries for Namosi when they played against Nandronga. He was also one of the top try scorers in the Skipper Cup last year. His skill sets, he has speed, amazing footwork, and the ability to change direction with very little momentum lost. He may not be a typical, 240-pound tank-like Fijian winger, but he's a good ball handler and he reads the game well in both attack and defense. The club he plays for is Namosi. Our next prospect is Vilkesa Drua, aka Pocket Rocket. He's age 25. His background, him being dubbed as the Pocket Rocket, he scored some amazing tries last season for Nandi. Because of that, Babe rewarded him a call-up to join with our Fiji Sevens team earlier this year to be part for the Olympics preparation. Skill sets, he's a short and explosive winger that can burst off the mark quickly. Drua also brings speed out wide and that will make our Drua team hard to stop. He reads the game well and reacts quicker in short notice. Our next prospect is Panapasa Ngerungeru, age 23. Background, debuted for Nandronga this season. He's been playing for Nandronga for 3 seasons, but burst into the limelight this season though. His skill sets, because of his amazing performance this year in round 1 against Suva, he scored 2 amazing tries for Suva. He's a hard player to bring down and he has speed, quick instinct and vision, which gives him a edge to beat players. If you watch that game in round 1 against Suva, he had good control of the ball. He was really good in using the ball. He had that small chip kick like Rupeni Daudau and also speed. So he's a player to watch too. The club he plays for is Nandronga. Our next prospect is Marika Vularewa, age 23. Background, he attended Lilian in 2016, was part of the Fiji Warriors in 2019, and Latui. His skill set, he's a very intelligent player. I really like him. And he's a very intelligent player, and he has pace too, but He's a type of winger that any fly halves can would love to have. He reads the game well. He provides good cover at the back, and he has good kicking ability. The club he plays for is Suva. Our next prospect is Kamnieli Rasaku, age 22. Background, he played in the teens back in 2017 for Lilin and got selected in the Fiji under-20 in 2019 and was part of Baber Sevens training squad ever since. His skill sets, he has an amazing footwork. If you watch him during the Oceania under-20s back in 2019, he really showed some really good footwork, especially again the games against New Zealand. He was breaking some ankles in that game, and plus he also has low center of gravity and pace to burn. The club he plays for is Suva. Our last prospect is Beniamino Kalonintau. Beniamino, his background, he attended St. Bede's in Takunrabe Vonoleu. He was spotted by Kelelewere and was brought in to join the Nandronga team. He was also selected for the Fiji under-20 last year, but unfortunately things got cancelled. Now his skill sets. This guy is a big and bulky looking wing. He's your typical like 240 pound or 130 kg type of Fijian wing. You see him, he looks like a bull, and that's what he had shown with playing for Nandronga. In any one-on-one situation, in a 5 meter run, he'll run over players. He's really strong and explosive. The club he plays for is Nandronga.